After having lived about 20 years of my life in 60 foreign countries, I've come to realize that there is a lot to love about living abroad. So if you've been thinking about living abroad someday, or if you already do and you just want someone to relate to, I hope you enjoy this list of things I love the most about living in foreign countries. The first thing that I love the most about living abroad has to be this sense of aliveness and adventure that you tend to feel in your day-to-day life. There are so many things that you do on a day-to-day basis that become part of your routine, part of your habits, things that you do on autopilot. And when you move to a foreign country, all of a sudden there's this pattern interrupt where you have to learn everything from the beginning, and it makes everything just feel brand new. It's like this excitement. The most mundane activities like going to the grocery store or commuting to your co-working space become adventures. I was curious about more of what's going on behind the scenes in our brain to make this day-to-day life of living abroad so exciting. And I found out that our bodies are processing 11 million bits of information every second, but our conscious minds are only processing 50 bits per second. So that means it's really easy to get through your day on autopilot when you're very familiar with your surroundings. You might even drive to the grocery store or to pick your kids up from school and not even remember getting there. Has that ever happened to you? So when you move to a new country and everything feels very foreign, I think it feels like your brain is processing more on a conscious level. And this allows you to feel more alive. You start to notice more about the sights and sounds and smells of your environment. And this helps you to be more present compared to your daily routine in the same city that you've lived in for the past 10, 15, or 20 years. The second thing I love about living abroad, which kind of goes along with the first point, is how accessible adventure is. It's like there's adventure waiting for you around every corner. Now, this will be more or less extreme depending on where you're from, like how cool of a town you're from. But let's say, for example, I went to school in Orlando, Florida. So I was basically surrounded by highways, toll roads, and suburbia. I mean, Disney World was pretty close, but you get the idea. And then when I moved to Costa Rica after college, it was like this whole new world of adventure opened up to me. And depending on which country you choose to live in, it's kind of like reading those Nancy Drew mystery books where you get to pick your ending and pick your adventure in the middle of the book. You can actually choose a country that will provide the adventure that you're seeking. For example, if you love hiking, you could move to Norway and you could spend your mornings or afternoons hiking up a mountain or a fjord in Iceland. Or if you love surfing, instead of driving down the hill in California, putting on your wetsuit and paddling out for an hour after work, you could actually base yourself in Hawaii or Mexico or Costa Rica or Bali, and all of a sudden going surfing is a lot more exciting. When you live abroad, something as normal as meeting a friend for lunch or a cup of coffee or for happy hour can all of a sudden turn into a major adventure, like meeting a friend for dim sum at a rooftop restaurant in Hong Kong or meeting friends for happy hour at a bar in Bangkok. Whatever type of adventure you're looking for, you can find it much easier when you live abroad. Another thing I love about living abroad is the people that you meet. Now, when you think about the normal trajectory in life, after you graduate from school and you get a job, go into the workforce and start a family, your social life can tend to suffer. Life can get busy, and making friends can unfortunately drop down the priority list. Because after all, with so many responsibilities in life, it's hard enough to keep up with the friends you have, let alone make new ones. Making new friends can take more energy and time than you might have available. But when you live abroad, you get the chance to start your own new social circle. Even though you might feel out of your comfort zone and a little bit awkward at first, you are undoubtedly going to make friends for life. And the more places you live, or the longer you live in a foreign country, the more opportunities you have to meet new people. Because usually when you go to a new country, you're either by yourself or maybe with one other person. Maybe you're traveling with your significant other, or you're traveling as a family. But either way, you're probably going to only know very few to no people in the place that you're moving. And so by default, you're forced into meeting new people, but it's always for the better.
Yes!
Many of those people will end up being your friends for life, but even if you never see them again, you'll always have a memorable experience. When you start to think about who you are and your identity, it's really a combination of things. Part of it is how you were when you were born. Part of it is natural personality in your DNA. Part of it was how you were raised. Part of it was the environment that you grew up in. And part of it is from the collective culture of your home country. So when you move to a new country, you get to integrate a new environment, new ways of thinking, new ways of living into your personal identity. And so you become a more multifaceted person because you get exposed to all these different types of people and different ways of living. And this allows you to choose what serves you and what doesn't. I kind of liken it to getting older, because you know how as you get older, you start to learn more about what you like and what you don't like, and you care way, way less about what people think. It's almost like this correlation where the older you get, the less you give a crap what other people think. And so when you combine getting older with also living in a foreign country, you kind of get on this fast track to knowing who you are, what you like and what you don't like. And you also start to care less and less about what people at home think and what people in your immediate surroundings think. And that's very empowering. Regardless of how your personal evolution takes place, suffice to say that if you live abroad, it's probably going to be for the better. There is a reason that people say that travel is the best education, and when you live abroad, you take many of the benefits of travel, from an enhanced worldview to a deeper knowledge over philosophy, religion, history, and also better developed soft skills, maybe an enhanced sense of gratitude, better communication, higher empathy and connection with other people, happiness by valuing experiences over collecting material things. There's all of these things that happen through travel that become magnified when you travel long term or when you move permanently to a foreign country. So not only do you tend to grow as a person and a human being and learn a lot more about yourself and the world, you also get a chance to develop some of these traits that are going to serve you long term. And kind of connected with this personal growth thing, the fifth thing that happens when you move abroad that I love is you get these kind of expat superpowers. And what I mean by that is you develop a very keen bullshit-ometer. One of the negative things that happens that I'll talk about in the other video is that you inevitably have hard learning experiences when you live abroad. You get ripped off, you get scammed, at least at the very beginning. And it depends on how many countries you go to. But eventually, you are going to develop very keen street smarts that you will find apply in different countries. So it doesn't matter where you are in the world, it's like you can see that scam coming from a mile away. Over the years, I've had a lot of stuff happen. I've had my luggage stolen, I've had my car broken into, I've been pickpocketed, I've been overcharged for housing and transportation, but eventually it happened less and less. And the longer you live abroad, the better you'll be able to deal with these things. So this doesn't matter if you're in a taxi in Colombia or Russia or a market in Morocco or Mexico, your street smarts, your ability to negotiate, and your ability to make sense of your surroundings is going to be ultra enhanced. You'll begin to develop this sixth sense about the world, and you won't just be able to recognize possible warning signs in people, but also patterns in communication, whether it's newspapers or magazines or internet ads or billboards. And it doesn't matter if it's in your native language or not. You'll be able to recognize a politician speaking on TV or at an event, see the same kinds of mannerisms that you've seen in other places. You'll recognize clickbait in different countries and different languages, and it kind of becomes this game of making sense of the world around you. And what I love about this is that you begin to feel more assertive, more resilient, more confident, and more self-reliant. And I can't really recall developing this sort of keen sense of awareness until after I moved abroad for the first time. The next thing I love about living abroad is how connected you start to feel to other human beings and also to the planet itself. So this can sound a little bit woo-woo, but it's really true. Before I moved abroad, I saw the world as kind of us versus them, because everything I knew about the world I had learned through public school, through the news and media, and also through books. So in school, you tend to learn about the things that make your country different from other countries. You learn about wars, you learn about borders, you learn about differences in culture, differences in religions and ideologies, different types of governments. But there's not that much focus on what makes people the same. And so when you live in foreign countries, you start to realize that we really are all part of one global human race. We all experience the same set of emotions, all have the same human psychology, we all have struggles, we all have desires, we all have hopes and dreams, we all fit into Maslow's basic hierarchy of needs. Everyone wants to do all of the things, and I love that about living abroad and really seeing more of our similarities than our differences. Another thing that you'll notice when you get the opportunity to travel overseas or live abroad is what a small world it is and how fragile our planet is. You're going to really start to see how human activity has a really big impact, not just in what you can see in trash on the ground, but also in public policy and in climate change. Like, let's say you grow up in a city and you've never seen the beach before, but then you get to go to Costa Rica and see sea turtles hatching in the sand. That is a very moving experience, and it will drive you to want to save those animals. So I think that the more experiences that you have face to face with either people or animals or the environment in foreign countries, the more you recognize the impact that humans have on our environment, the more you'll have the desire to give back and really make an effort to help preserve our small and delicate planet and the people living in it. Another perk about living abroad is that, ironically, it can actually result in you having more quality time with your friends and family. There's this blog I follow by a guy named Tim Urban called Wait But Why, and he calculates your life in squares and shows how once you graduate from high school, you only have a small percentage of quality time left with your friends, your family members, your siblings, your parents. And so when you live abroad, you actually have more of an opportunity to get to spend time with your family and friends that you might not otherwise in your daily life. The best way to do this is to have people come visit you. So this is a really good way to figure out who your real friends are, to see if they actually come and visit. But this is a way for you to create memories with your family members and friends that you wouldn't normally have because you only got to see them at holidays or on the weekends or after work. So of course, any amount of quality time with family and friends is great, but when you live abroad, you get to have experiences that you wouldn't otherwise have. Like, I've been on business trips with my friends, surf trips with my brother throughout Central America, and I've been able to show my family and friends the places that I've lived, take them to my favorite restaurants, that sort of thing, and it is a really cool bonding experience that you can have. Another thing that's great about living abroad is that it's really good for your resume. So whether you work for a company or you work for yourself, studying abroad or living abroad in some way, shape, or form is always going to benefit you in your career. Not just for the personal development that I talked about earlier and the actual skills that you can learn while living abroad, but in your professional development as well. You might end up getting new job opportunities that you never had before. You could learn a new language that can help you in a future job, and you have the opportunity to learn more about your industry in the context of a foreign culture. There are infinite ways that living abroad can improve your job prospects or your profit margins, but basically you can't lose. The ninth thing I love about living abroad is that you get to design your life. And of course, technically you can do this wherever you live in the world, but when you decide to move abroad, you get to pick your environment. And you can make this decision based on the type of experience you want to have, the type of climate that you want to be in, or the types of activities that you want to do. You can even increase your happiness by specifically basing yourself in a country that ranks really high on quality of life and the happiness index, or you can go to a place where you can get a really low cost of living. Once you've made that decision to live abroad, really the world is your oyster, and it is such a cool feeling to be able to design your lifestyle based on the country that you're living in. The really cool thing about this is that you're focused solely on the experience that you want to have and not on any sort of material things that you're going to accumulate. Usually you end up selling all of your stuff before you move abroad, or if you do ship your stuff over, that's usually an afterthought. So by design, when you move abroad, you are weighting everything towards the focus on experience over things. It just feels really good to become a minimalist, give up stuff, and be free to go roam the world or base yourself wherever you see fit. And then the last thing on my list that I love about living abroad is that you get to share your experiences. So this doesn't just mean that you have a really cool story to tell at a dinner party, but it means that you get to go out and learn more about the world, learn more about yourself, and then integrate that into whatever it is that you're doing for work or how you're helping your friends, family members. Living abroad is a life-changing experience that even if you do it once for a short amount of time, you can take those experiences and learn from them for the rest of your life, and you can help other people in the process. So what are your favorite things about living abroad? Let us know in the comments below, and likewise, if you haven't moved abroad yet but you're planning on it, what is one thing that you're looking forward to when you land in a foreign country? Share your thoughts with us in the comments, like this video, and subscribe if you're new here, and see you in the next video.